Sources of Health Information Part 2. These are the sources of information, health information, which are of most importance. The first 4 have been discussed in the part 1 of the lecture, and the lower 10 will be covered in this part of the lecture. Hospital records as source of health information. They have a limitation, and that is that the cases that report to the hospital, they represent only the tip of the iceberg. That is only very few cases of the actual incidence of the disease, because only those patients who get florid symptoms will only seek medical care, and among those who get florid symptoms, not all will seek medical care. So it is only a tip of the iceberg, that is only the manifest cases, and that too those who seek medical care. Hence this sample of patients is not representative of the cases in the community. Mild cases may not attend hospitals, subclinical cases are always missed. Also, the admission policy may vary from hospital to hospital. That is, even the florid symptoms cases, some hospitals may admit, because of dearth of beds, only the very severe cases, and others may have ample beds and may even admit milder cases and discharge after 1 to 2 days. Hence, the hospital statistics tend to be highly selective and not representative of the real population of patients. Also, population served by a hospital cannot be defined, because patients from far off corners of the country can also approach large hospitals. Hence, there is no denominator. So, hospital statistics therefore are poor guide to the estimation of disease frequency in a community, because the patients are not from only the surrounding community, but they can come from outside also. Still, they may provide some information about the locally prevalent diseases, especially in those areas where vital registration system and disease notification systems are extremely inadequate. So we have at least some idea about the locally prevalent diseases if we look at the hospital data in these conditions. But definitely the data is useful, because the information about healthcare and healthcare utilization can be derived from the hospital records, like the profile of the patient's diagnosis, the most common diagnosis, the commonly carried out medical and surgical procedures, the complication rate of various procedures in this hospital, the average length of stay of patients, the lab data, etc. So, a study of hospital data provides information on the following aspects. The geographic source of the patients, that is the profile of the patients attending that hospital. Age and sex distribution of patients and age and sex distribution of the different diagnoses, and duration of hospital stay. Distribution of diagnosis, association of between different diseases in the population, that is in the attendants of the hospital. The period between disease and hospital admission depending upon the history given by the patient. The distribution of patient according to different social and biological characteristics, and the cost of the hospital care, that is what medicines were given, what consumables were used, what disposables were used, and what is the cost of hospital care per patient can be calculated. And this information is useful in planning of health services, that is the administration of an individual hospital also requires this kind of data, so as to see that what kind of procedures are being more commonly done in the hospital. So instruments relating to those procedures would be bought on priority basis and in higher numbers. So bed occupancy rates, duration stay of patients, cost effectiveness of treatment policies, if they are worked out, then we can improvise on the cost effectiveness. Hence, the medical record department should be established in each hospital to enable this. Disease register is another source of information about some diseases. What is disease register? Disease registry is basically a list of all the patients in a defined population who have been diagnosed with a particular condition. So there is one register for one particular condition, and registers are maintained for some important conditions only. Disease register is different from notification. In notification, the cases are notified and counted in the incidence with some identification data, and that's it. On the other hand, register requires that a more permanent record is established and that the cases who are there in the registers can be followed up and the data is analyzed and some basic tabulation is done regarding the frequency and on the survival rates. Hence, disease registers are mostly for chronic conditions. In addition, the patients on a register are frequently the subjects of special studies. Disease registers help keep track of when were the patients last seen, what were the tests carried out, what were the treatment given, their survival, etc. Morbidity registers become a valuable source of information in like duration of illness of that particular disease, the case fatality rate of that disease, the survival rates, natural history of that disease. But the data has some limitations. Registry data has some limitation, and that is there is an absence of a defined population base. Hence, incidence rates and prevalence rates cannot be calculated. But population-based registries can provide these rates if it can be ensured that the reporting is complete. That is, each and every case that has been diagnosed in that population is ensured that it is reported in the register. It is registered in the register. Moreover, morbidity registers, they exist only for certain diseases, certain important diseases like stroke, myocardial infarction, cancer, blindness, congenital defects, congenital rubella syndrome, etc. Not all the diseases are listed. So registers exist for only a few diseases. There are two types of registries: population-based registry and hospital-based registry. Hospital-based registry involves recording of information of those patients who are seen in a particular hospital. The primary purpose of hospital-based registries are to contribute to the patient care, so that there is information regarding patients are there and they can be easily contacted for any new development. The data is also used for clinical research. The objectives of a hospital-based registry have been defined as to assess patient care, participation of the patients in clinical research to evaluate therapy, to provide an idea about the pattern of cases, to contribute to follow-up case of the patients, epidemiological research like case control studies, show time trends in the stage of diagnosis, that is the disease being diagnosed earlier with time, help study the quality of care for these patients in the particular hospital. Population-based registry is a registry that contains and tracks the records of people who are diagnosed with a specific type of disease and who reside within a defined geographic region. They may be being treated in any hospital, but the register, which is population based, has an entry for their name. The major concern of population based registries is to calculate the incidence rates in the area. So population-based registry systematically collects information on all the cases occurring in a geographically defined population from multiple sources, wherever they are being treated. So the comparison and interpretation of population-based incidence data support population-based actions, because we know the burden of the disease in that particular community, and involves systematic ascertainment of incidence from multiple sources. And this multiple sources can provide an unbiased profile of the disease burden, that is the prevalence and its changing pattern. And the registries, these population-based registries, can provide data for planning the control program for the disease and for evaluating the already running programs. Disease registries in India. ICMR operates following disease registries in the country: National Cancer Registry, Registry of Population with Diabetes in India with young age at the onset, and National Stroke Registry Program. Record linkage, data from record linkage. What is record linkage? Record linkage means bringing together information that relates to the same individual or to the same family from different data sources. In this way, it is possible to construct a picture, a chronological sequence of health events for individuals or families. The records may originate in different times or different places, and they are brought together. So medical record linkage implies gathering and maintenance of one file for each individual in a population with records relating to his or her health. The events which are commonly recorded in such file are birth, marriage, death, hospital admissions, the discharge data, sickness, absence from work, prophylactic procedures undertaken, use of social services, etc. Record linkage data is suitable when we are studying association between diseases and some risk factors, or association between one disease or another disease occurring later. There are some challenges with record linkage using the data from record linkage, and that the volume of data that can accumulate, if we have one file for each individual with all the records, the volume of data is huge. Hence there is a need for high technology. Then there are privacy issues, that when we obtain the data of one person from different sources, then we may be crossing some privacy issues. Involvement of different agencies for different records, so permissions from multiple agencies for accessing the record, high chances of incomplete retrieval of information. So therefore, in practice, record linkage has been applied only on a limited scale. For example, on twin studies, on genetic studies, on some chronic disease epidemiology, family studies. And because of these, record linkage is beyond the reach of many developing countries. Having a file for each individual is beyond the reach of many developing countries. Epidemiological surveillance. So data from epidemiological surveillance. What is epidemiological surveillance? Surveillance systems are set up for selected diseases under the respective control or eradication programs as a routine procedure. And the purpose of this surveillance is to keep an eye on the incidence, prevalence and the changing pattern of that particular disease, so as to adjust the control measures accordingly. For example, AFP surveillance under polio eradication, leprosy cases surveillance under National Leprosy Eradication Program, number of children given Japanese encephalitis vaccines, etc. These programs, the surveillance data, have yielded considerable morbidity and mortality data for these specific diseases for which the program is there. And we can use other health service records, that is some specialized health services apart from hospitals. Health records are also maintained in primary health centers, polyclinics, MCH centers, school health records, Anganwadis, special clinics like diabetic clinic, autism clinic, etc. The records in these centers can provide certain information. For example, records in Anganwadis can provide information about the birth weights of the children in that area, weight, height and arm circumference pattern of the children in that area covered by the Anganwadi, immunization coverage in the area which the Anganwadi covers, etc. But this data from other health service records relates only to a certain segment of the general population. That is, if only you want to study the coverage in under 5 in that particular area, or if you want to study the morbidity pattern of school children, then these service records are useful. Environmental health data. Sometimes information on environment may be needed for studying its effect on health. And then data is required on various aspects of air, water and noise pollution, harmful food additives, industrial intoxicants, inadequate waste disposal, etc. because this data would be required when we want to study the effect of environmental factors on health and disease causation. Collection of environmental data remains a major problem for future research because it is assumed that in future research would more and more focus on the effect of environmental factors on disease causation. For example, if you want to study the effect of air pollution and autism, we may find out the prevalence of autism by population surveys, but the data on air pollution in that particular area may not be available because all the areas are not individually monitored for air pollution. So, collection of environmental data remains a major concern for future research. Health manpower statistics. Data on health manpower statistics is required for planning of health services, administration and evaluation of health services. And such information includes number of doctors, dentists, pharmacists, number of veterinarians or nurses, medical technicians, and so on. So this data can be found from the records which are maintained by the state medical councils, dental councils, nursing councils, etc., and also from the directorates of medical education. The census also collects information on occupation, so we can see the number of doctors, number of dentists, etc. from census data. The Institute of Applied Manpower Research attempts to estimate the manpower. It takes into account different sources of data, the turnout of qualified persons from different institutions, mortality among them, migration among them, and so gives an estimate of the manpower in the country. The Planning Commission also gives estimates of doctors for different states. Regarding medical education, the statistics of the number of students admitted, number of students qualified are published every year in Health Information of India, which is published by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. Population surveys as a source of health information. The health information from the sources that we have discussed do not provide information about all the diseases which may be prevalent in the given community, and do not provide information about the health status of the community members. So the statistics regarding the diseases prevalent in the community, their distribution, and the health status of the community are very important because for public health administration. And also, if research is required in any one disease which is not covered by these sources, then the information will not be found in these records. In such cases, there is a need for conducting population surveys. The term health survey is used for a population survey which is conducted for studying any aspect of health. It may be morbidity, mortality, nutrition status, or etc., any aspect of health. Survey for studying diseases in a community is also known as morbidity survey. Health surveys are of following type. Survey for studying the disease prevalent in the given community, the distribution of these diseases, and the health status of the individuals. This data is known as community diagnosis, and community diagnosis is required for planning the health services and developing the health services, and finally evaluating the health services of the given population. Second type of health survey is surveys for studying the factors which affect health or the risk factors for disease. Third type of survey for assessing the administration of health services, that is the utilization rates of health facilities, expenditure on health per person, per capita expenditure on health, unmet health needs of the population, etc. These are the three types of health surveys. Various sampling techniques are available so that the estimates of the prevalence can be calculated at any precision level. So whatever resources are available, the precision level may be fixed according to that, and appropriate sample size may be calculated which can be surveyed. Health surveys may be cross-sectional or longitudinal. That is, cross-sectional means collecting the data once and then just tabulating it. Longitudinal survey means once we carry out a cross-section survey and then repeated observations after regular intervals. Health surveys can be descriptive or analytical. There are two types of epidemiological studies. Health surveys on regular basis are operational in a few countries. In India, National Family Health Survey was conducted in 1992, and then regular National Family Health Surveys have been conducted. Data collection in the surveys can be carried out in one or more of the following methods: by health examination or lab investigation, health interview, health checking the health records, and mailing the questionnaire to the sampled people. Each method has its own advantages and disadvantages and may be suitable in different conditions. For example, health examination of the members of the sample is suitable when morbidity survey is being carried out. And in this, the survey team will obviously include doctors, lab technicians, etc. in addition to interviews, and therefore this is expensive method and is not suitable mostly for an extensive scale. It also carries the issue of providing treatment, the ethical issue of providing treatment those who are found ill. The second is health interview, face-to-face interview, is suitable for assessing subjective phenomena as the perceived morbidity, disability by the participant. That is what he thinks is wrong with him. Economic loss due to illness, that is how much is he losing by not going to work. Expenditure incurred on medical care, opinion, beliefs, knowledge, attitude and practices regarding the disease and or the healthcare facilities, some behavioral characteristics, etc. An alternative method in this can be just distributing it's a self-administered questionnaire. That is, the self-administered questionnaire is distributed to the participants and collected after some time after they have filled it up. In India, National Sample Survey Organization has been active in conducting interview surveys. These surveys have yielded a lot of information, but the morbidity data from these surveys is not very reliable because it is just an interview method. So it will be better to combine the interview method with some health examination and or laboratory measurements. Third method is health record survey. It includes collection of secondary data, that is data from the health service records maintained by various agencies like school health, like Anganwadis. This obviously is the cheapest method of collecting data, but there are some disadvantages. That the estimates of the disease are not population based, that you are not asking the participant themselves, it's just secondary data. Hence the reliability of the data is open to question, and lack of uniform procedures and the standardization of the recording of data. For example, in the records may have the report of daily morning inspection by the class teacher. Some class teacher may note something, some deviation from normal, others may ignore it. So there is no standardization in these data. So only a limited information which may be standardized can be obtained from health records. Fourth method is mailing the questionnaire to the participants and asking them to fill it up and send them back. In this case, a certain level of education and skill is expected from the respondents. Only then this method can be adopted. And there is usually a high rate of non-response in this case. So, except when the purpose of survey is to collect information from a special group, that is special school children or some occupational group, the most common sampling unit in population survey is a household. The sample size to be surveyed is calculated based on the measurement which is to be taken and the degree of precision that is desired. Data must be gathered under standardized conditions, that is the same person, same people should be asking the questions from all the households with using the same questionnaire. And quality control, that is some supervisor should check that the information entered is authentic. Collection of data should be restricted to only those items which are there in the questionnaire. Any extra data should not be collected. The fact that data might be of interest to somebody someday is not a valid reason for collecting them. This leads to data overload and poses difficulty in analysis of the data. The collected data needs to be transformed into information by summarizing them. That is calculating mean, calculating prevalence, calculating standard deviation, tabulating them, and adjusting them for the variations in age and sex composition of the population. Regular health surveys in India. The Registrar General of India carries out annual health survey. National Sample Survey Office carries out health surveys. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India carries out National Family Health Surveys and District Level Health Surveys, where the nodal agency which helps in this is International Institute of Population Sciences. Other routine statistics which may be related to health. Sources of data other than health are also required by epidemiologists sometime when they want to study health and disease and their risk factors. The following list, which is not comprehensive, gives an example. Demographic data. In addition to routine census data, statistics may be required on population density. We might need to study the prevalence of disease and try to associate it with population density, with the educational level of the population. So such data is not from health records but from other statistics routinely collected. Then economic data like consumption of tobacco, consumption of fat, usage of domestic coal, sale of drugs and remedies may indirectly indicate the types of diseases prevalent. Information concerning per capita income, employment, unemployment data and association of such things with disease. Social security scheme data, because claim of medical insurance may give an indirect indication towards the disease prevalence. Other data which may be required would be sickness absence from school, from place of work, sickness benefit rates, disability benefit rates. So these are indirect indicators of disability or disease, and we might need to compare the various data, such kind of data, with disease prevalence. Non-quantifiable information may be required by health planners and decision makers, like information of health policies of that area, health legislations in that area, public attitudes towards their illness and towards the health facilities provided by the government, program procedures and technology used. In other words, health information requires multidisciplinary inputs.